Hello all, old geek, and it's time for our weekly perusal of an old magazine. And I've got a copy of The Dragon up here. It's Dragon 19, Volume 3, Number 5 from October 1978. It's costing $2. That's an increase. Let's hope that the magazine itself justifies that increase. I can say now straight away that the cover doesn't. Um, is this the least appealing cover of a Dragon magazine thus far? It's got to be close, hasn't it? What's it meant to be? Is it some sort of big fungus or something? Or is it just a really bad scan? Was it from a faded copy? I don't know. Don't know. I've probably just offended an innocent artist now. Didn't intend for it to look like this at all. Sorry. But no, I think that's probably the worst cover I've seen so far of a Dragon magazine. Origins, D&D Tournament, Gamma World, Australian Mythos. Okay, the Dream Time and the Bunyips, things like that. Right, let's have a little Ralpatha with a... I think it's a better arrangement of their adverts, but still the pictures look pretty awful. I like that they've got that little thing in the centre now, giving an idea of what they are and arranging the pictures of the miniatures around the edge. But those pictures are still low quality. But it might just be the scan. I don't know. The Tribes of Crane. Oh, it's an advert. Okay. Your task, Chief of the Leopard. Your task. What does that say? Is it scanned badly? You, task chief of the leopard people, wandering tribe of Crane. Oh, no. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what we've got in this issue. I think I prefer the blue to the previous sort of pinky or reddy sort of colours that they used. Right, Battle for Snur's Hall. Origins. The Hall of the Fire Giant King. Excellent. How many etids is a fire giant worth? Scoring D&D tournaments. Gamma World New Treasures. Fastest guns that never lived. Television heroes for Boot Hill. Footsteps in the Sky. I need some new glasses. I'm sorry, I'm having to tilt my head to actually read these at the moment. Because if I do that, I actually can't read the screen anymore. I definitely need some new glasses. Lowdown on Wishes, Mythos of Australia, Aborigines in D&D. Ooh, is this going to touch cultural sensitivities? Don't know, we'll find out. Okay, let's just zoom on. I'm mildly optimistic by the contents of this one. Okay, so let's have a look at what Tim Kask has got to say. It doesn't say who the artist is for the cover. Don't know. I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. So Tim Kask is giving a long description of what happened at Gen Con. Well, there's some 2,000 present. It was smaller than anticipated. They reckon they lost 500 attendees to the weather alone. Was it a bad winter that year? Must have been. Right, continued on page 11. Yeah, okay. Battle for Snur's Hall. See if any names we recognise in here. 275 players at a D&D tournament. 2 days of grueling, torturous fun, honed sharp by the nature of the competition. Okay. See, there's several husband and wife teams taking part. Nice to see. Keep it in the family. So what was it? Let's see what was involved. Round 1. Steadying of the Hill Giant Chief. Lovely. Oh, this is like a play report, I'm guessing, of the winning team. Round 2. Frost Giant Jarl. Yes. Doubt they got to the Jarl, but hey ho. And round 3 was the Fire Giants. Right. No, perfect. Absolutely perfect. 3 really good adventures. 3 really testing adventures. I'm not going to read all this. I want to see what they say about the scoring system. Dungeon adventures, but not for the... look at this. Advert for those 3 classic modules. Wonderful. Wonderful. Plus 3 new modules to be released at Gen Con. Guessing those were the D series. How many editors is a fire giant worth? Yeah, I mean, do you... I don't know how scoring systems worked in the old days. I know the later ones I saw had... It was more based on how far you got compared to how many characters you lost. I think that's a better way of looking at it rather than getting bogged down in combat. So it's a bit of a moot point comparing fire giants to Ettins in terms of how much they're worth. So, but obviously this is 1978, so they were to hone those rules over time, weren't they? But again, they're using... No, don't worry with the formulae. Don't worry with the formulae. Okay, I'm going to come back and read that because that looks interesting. A compendium of diverse D&D player personalities, or a pigeonhole for nearly everyone you've ever invented. Not reading properly today, am I? Or a pigeonhole for nearly everyone you've ever adventured with. Let's have a look at what they got here. The poor loser, yeah, we've all met them. The doomsday predictor. I don't think I've encountered them really. The masochist. Yeah, they get the odd moment. The smug player. No, again, not too many of those. The genius, the real lifer. You get a lot of those nowadays. Shy people, plenty of those. A dominant player, yep. The poor loser's the biggest problem. Of those ones I've seen there, the poor loser's the problem. The one who moans, not fair. Not a big fan of the real lifers either. You can bring shy players out of their shell over time. The genius, have I ever encountered any geniuses? I don't know. I've encountered some good players, some clever players. Geniuses? Encountered a couple of genius DMs along the way. The dominant player, yeah. I think this is where old D&D got it right in having a mapper and a caller and certain roles in the party. If you've got a dominant player, give them a job to do that keeps them occupied and makes them feel as though they're really, really contributing, as they like to take charge. As long as they're not telling everybody else what to do. There's not a problem with having a dominant player who takes the lead, because you want decision making. But it's how they dominate that matters. Because people will naturally move in various directions. Some will naturally sit back and let the game flow around them. Others will like to lean forward and say, right, come on, what are we going to do? There's nothing wrong with that, as long as they're not telling everybody else what to do. Okay. Gamma World, a new list of treasures to be found. Notice treasures in quotation marks. But obviously, treasures vary depending on the era you're playing. So you've got all sorts in it. Flashlight, plastic box, toiletry article, another plastic box. Oh, this is what's in the box. Screws. Children's blocks made of lightweight plastic. Lego. Vinyl patching kit. Nylon fishing line. Smoke detector. Okay. Fine. Absolutely fine. From the Sorcerer's Scroll. Gamma World. More excerpts. Gamma World. Okay. Not for me. Wormy. Okay. Wormy's featuring early this issue. We've got a Wormy. And you've got a troll being beaten up by a flying thing, and the troll's fighting back. Dadgum, it's still kicking. Yeah, the troll's arms come off. Of course, he puts his arm back on because it's a troll. This flying thing's vicious. Look at that! He's taking the troll's leg off. And is that the arm? Oh, that's the head coming off. Wormy! This flying thing's absolutely brutal. Continued on page 30. Okay, I'm glad we've got 2 pages of Wormy, but why is it not on the next page? because the Gen Con thing now dives in here. I might have to come back and read that. Lowdown on wishes. Right. Let me guess. Are these the wish spells? The first thing to consider is how the wishes came to be. I know, I'm not too bothered. No, well, it's wrong there. No. Yeah, you've got to take into account where the wish is coming from, the nature of the wish giver. If it's going to be if it's an Efreeti, then you better be careful how you frame it. If it's a genie, you still got to be careful how you frame it because you don't want to be too greedy. I'm the sort of DM, when it comes to wishes, I like my wishes to not have any clarification clauses. You know the sort I mean. You basically have one statement with one verb. Forget commas. You've got about 8 to 10 words. And there, make your wish in those 8 to 10 words. If you wish for something that is fitting for the game, that is generous, that is thematic, then I'm not going to twist anything. If you get greedy, if you're selfish, then I'm going to twist it to my heart's content. So, good luck playing an evil character getting a wish. But I think the motive, not so much the motive of the wish giver, though that is important, but the motive behind the wish maker is the key factor for me. Definitely take into account the character motivation and the player motivation. Right, I've said my bit there. Planning creative treasures. If you like creative treasures, have a look at the UK series of modules. It was never just 2 pieces of jewellery worth 50 gold pieces, 1,000 gold pieces. You got really neatly described trinkets. Really neatly, it would say something like a red orb, a deep red garnet orb on a leather thong, or a piece of inscribed crystal. You'd get these little descriptions, goblets and bracelets, whatever, but it would give you a little bit more, and they were great. They were really, really nice. I like those descriptions. They made those modules, helped make those modules pop for me. Regulars to my channel will know how much I like that series. So, Mythos of Australia. I'm looking over to this one. It's one of these articles where they give you some limited stats and a big long list, very short on description, which I think is a bit of a waste of space. I like seeing all the names. But I want descriptions as to their purpose, their form, what will happen if you attempt to invoke this individual. Help to actually put it in the game, in the campaign, rather than just a list of stats and one paragraph. Look at this. The Mamandabari, great name, hard to say, are 2 brothers who either fly or travel underneath the ground. They wander the earth introducing customs and practices. They can use these spells, blah, blah. You need a bit more than that. A little bit more than that. What customs and practices? What do they look like beyond being 2 brothers? How do they travel underground? I want to see some personality. I want to see some description. I want to see some life in those. I like these names, though. Yulungur, Mamarangan. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these. Ngunut, the bat. Ngunut was believed to have created woman. He's the brother of Gidja. He can use these spells. Again, it's too short. It's too short. The names are great. Love the names. Love love those really authentic. Well, they are the proper names, aren't they? From the mythology. So it's great that it's giving you these names, but I would like to see a little bit more. Again, this is continued on page 26. Fantasy Forge is a waste of space. Systematic magic. Revised magic tables. Wizards such as Gandalf and Merlin cannot be assigned to specific levels of magic because they were complex individuals. Correct. Not only did they have physical strengths and weaknesses, but magical powers and limitations. Gandalf limited himself, didn't he, really? He was limited by the fact that I think he needed mortals to complete the quest, because he himself wasn't mortal at all. Gandalf was not just a wizard, nor was Radagast the Brown. He was not just a wizard. And Saruman preferred spells of control, therefore studied... Well, at the time of the Lord of the Rings, yes, but don't forget that Saruman was converted away from the ways of good. He was a good guy early on. Okay, but I do like that they are categorizing the spells. Look at this: control, knowledge, holy defense, senses, knowledge. We saw these spheres of magic, these schools of magic really come to the fore, especially around second edition, where you had specialist mages as the norm, and specialty priests and what have you. And I like that. I think it's great. When creating your own deities, like you've got a guardian deity, then you're looking at protection and sun magic and that sort of thing. And maybe you'll have less of the nature and the elemental magic. It adds anything that helps the DM, makes those decisions easier, is good. So I like this sort of thing, and it's nice to see. Nice to see. Prime requisite charisma. What are we on about here? What are we on about here? We're on about different... Looks odd. Why is this in here? Unless you're using different stats for different spheres. Possibly. Different... Maybe because they did that with mages and clerics later on, where they'd have to have slightly different stats to head down different paths. Like the illusionist had to have some dexterity. The invoker need to have some constitution, and so on. I'm not going to read all of it. It's a long old list. You've got to be lawful alignment to do all the cures. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, chaotic priests can cure as well. At a cost. Of course they can. Well, lawful evils. Just sign on this dotted line, please. I will cure your disease, but no, you just sign here first. With blood. Yes, your blood. Thank you. Have a nice day. Oh, casting fatigue factor. Oh, right, okay. Okay, it's adding a lot of depth to the magic system. Always nice to try these things out in magazine articles, isn't it? I mean, everything in these magazines is optional. I'll often ask questions and people will reply, "Oh, that was answered in Dragon 22." Irrelevant. We didn't all get Dragon 22. Nothing in these magazines is canon. Only what makes it into the core rulebooks is canon. I've probably just offended some hardcore people there. Fastest Guns That Never Lived by Alan Hammack. Okay, these are characters from TV and films. Eli Wallach from Good, Bad and the Ugly. Charles Bronson. Oh, they're statting the actors rather than the characters. That's a bit odd. Because the characters did live, but they obviously didn't live during the time of the Wild West. So, who's the fastest? Who's the fastest actor? Eli. James Coburn. Strength. Who's the biggest and strongest? 92. That belongs. That's James. Looks like James Coburn's pretty rock hard. Okay. Right. Phineas Fingers. Phineas Fingers. Skip past Phineas Fingers as I always do. Gamma World. I'm going to skip past that as well because I'm not a sci-fi fan. Spell determination for hostile magic users. Why did he throw that spell? So you're randomly determining what spells the magic users got. I haven't got a problem with that. I mean, mages are meant to find their spells. Mostly, you can have them taught by NPCs at a cost, sometimes when you're training, but by and large you're meant to find them. So I like randomly determining what an evil mage will have in their spell book. I mean, for a third level enemy mage is probably going to have 4 or 5 first level spells and a couple of second level spells in their spell book, and then roll on the tables, but then pick which one they memorised from what those rolls give. So, say for example, roll a couple of second level spells, and if they're not expecting any sort of incursion, they might have a divination. Well, a second level divination spell, ESP. One that's more useful in combat or for escaping, invisibility. Are they expecting anyone to enter their territory? I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be random which one they pick each day. But I'd pick from the 2 that are rolled. I mean, if they roll spells that are effectively useless in combat, so be it. That's the way of life. But how might they have creatively used the spells they've got in order to make their life better or safer? If they've got wizard lock in their book, in their spell book, then naturally there will be certain doors that will be wizard locked because they'll have used it. If they have got ESP, then they will almost certainly have people around them who they are able to trust, because they'll have weeded out those who are more devious. If they've got invisibility, they might be a little bit braver. They might be found outside of their lair a little more often, scouting around, knowing that they can't be seen. So you can use these, whatever spells you roll in the spellbook, to give some personality and some sort of verisimilitude to the wizard's lair. Just a thought. Just a thought. So, yeah, roll what's in their book, but let it affect. Let it affect how they operate. Charts for determining the location of treasure. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Quite like that. Chest, urn, bag, pot, loose, carried, hidden. Ref's choice. I think hidden should be a bit more common. I think just a 5% chance of it being hidden is a bit meh. Same with carried. If a fighter owns a +2 sword, he'll be carrying it. I guarantee you that. It won't be in his chest. He's got a helm of brilliance. That won't be in his chest either. It'll be on his head. I mean, yeah, you might put your thousands of gold pieces of loot that you've gathered over the years in your chest. But certain treasures, the most valuable amulet they own, will be tucked, be close to their chest, tucked under their armour, worn. Won't be found in the chest. Okay, we have some more. What's this? Sorry. random traps and gases. Oh, that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. Quite happy with that. These are some more the Wawalag sisters. The Django Wool. I love these names. I think these names are great. A bit more description though, please. A bit more description. They are TSR looking for 2 individuals. You need a person for purchasing and sales, another for shipping. Must be hardworking and alert. Hardworking and alert. Yes, must be alert. The company needs alerts. Experience not necessary. We will train. Starting pay adequate. Plus excellent fringe benefits, because of course at this time everything was tested properly. This is before Williams joined and said no playing in the office at all. 1978 they actually played their own stuff in the office, which is why you had that personal touch to it. Okay, fringe benefits, playing D&D with them all. Oh no. I was hoping they'd say, make sure you understand the meaning of the word deodorant. Footsteps in the sky. Is this a piece of fiction? It looks like it is. So I'm going to skip past. And here's the rest of Wormy. Hurry, Wormy! They're fighting, because they were fighting that horrible flying thing. Wormy's coming to help them. Hey, you little creep, get up off that felt. Oh, it's on the pool table. Snooker table, pool table, whatever he's playing, whatever that is. Right on cue. Haha, joke. I look at like the trolls. The trolls have basically been cut to pieces. But of course, if you manage to get the head back on and the arms and the fingers back on, you can put them back together again. But they have been, well and truly shredded. That's not too bad. Right on cue. Continuing. Advert for the player's handbook. Take a trip with the dragon through the limitless worlds of your imagination. Oh, is this... this is your subscription thing. And that's it. Okay. Right. So what do we think? It's worth more... It cost more. The PDF isn't showing how many pages it's got. Is it worth the extra? Well, there was a little less of the division of articles there, so the editing's a little bit better. So I'm going to say that there's still a few chopped up like Wormy and stuff like that, but there are things in there that would interest me. I would go back and read things about Gen Con. I would look up those names listed in the Mythos of Australia if I could find anything on them. I would. Oh, excuse me. I like that those thoughts about spell determination, but probably more in the direction that my rambling took it than just a random chart. Fastest guns that never lived, a little bit pointless for me, because a lot of those people were, I'm guessing, we did get the films occasionally on TV over here, but they had been much bigger in America. The lowdown on wishes, again, I gave my thoughts on that. As a kid, that article may well have helped me. For me, the best part of that was probably the Gen Con review. As I was reading through, it felt like a really good issue. But looking back at that list now, I think it's above average. It's above average. Magical logic. Well, yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Again, there's Gamma World stuff in there that I'm not gonna read. There's fiction in there which I might read if I'm bored. But some of it's Some of that stuff's pretty good. What's happened to the letters page, by the way? There weren't many reviews, and what's happened to the letters page? And why no scenario? This is what I want to see. I like the letters page. I like the reviews. I like to see the scenarios. So. Anyway, it's not a bad issue. Cover's rubbish. I've been the Old Geek. Hope you've enjoyed this flick through, and I'll see you next time.